Happy Friday. Thank you for joining me if you're live and it is the Friday before Labor Day weekend. I appreciate you taking some time to move with me before we get ourselves rolling for that long weekend. If you're hitting this as a previously recorded class, welcome, welcome. Happy to have you here, however it works best for you. We've got 45 minutes of flow style class. I'd recommend grabbing a cushion for when we're on hands and knees to place on that mat if you feel like your knees might want a little extra padding. Otherwise, we don't need anything except for our bodies. And let's listen to our bodies as we get ourselves up and moving. Move at a pace that makes sense for you. Let's take some nice deep breaths and get ourselves up to that mat. Okay. If you have a cushion, we're going to place it off to the side, somewhere we can grab it in just a few moments. But let's back ourselves up toward the part of our mat farthest from our screen. We're going to settle our weight into our heels with those heels than our shoulders. As we settle our weight back toward our heels, let's spread those toes away from each other and feel that instep lengthen out. Feel that nice stretch across the top of the foot, the arches between those toes. And we'll soften up our knees. Let that tailbone drop a little closer to the floor. Slide your fingertips down along the outsides of the thighs. Now release those feet. As we relax those muscles, we're going to press our big toe and our pinky firmly into the floor to form the rest of that triangular base of support that goes along with our heels. If you feel safe doing so, close your eyes. If not, feel free to keep them open. If you are closing them, notice if any sway gets introduced into the equation without your vision in the mix to help with balance. If your eyes are open, notice if you tend to favor one side or the other. Do you have more weight through one foot, one part of the foot? Let's take a big breath in and exhale. Drop belly to spine as we breathe out. We're going to open our eyes now. Let's turn our head from side to side, find those side walls. Maybe we have enough room and enough mobility to turn and look behind us. If not, that's okay. We'll ease into that motion. Let's look up to the ceiling and then down toward our breastbones, lengthening out through the front of the neck and the chin, and lengthening out through the back of the neck as we look down. Looking straight ahead, we'll shrug and release our shoulders a few times. Let the blades slide up against that trunk, the back of the chest wall, and the back of that rib cage. Let's roll our shoulders up, back, and down now, forming some nice, maybe smooth, maybe crunchy circles as we roll them for 3, for 2, and for 1. And let's squeeze our shoulder blades together, opening up that chest, feeling the collarbones come away from each other, and then we release those blades. Again, squeeze those blades together and release them. Let's breathe our arms up and overhead, fingertips to the ceiling. Exhale them out to the sides and down. One more time. Arms come out to the sides, up and overhead, and let's clasp our fingers together. Turn the palms to face the ceiling, and we're again going to release those shoulder blades down the back side of the rib cage and press the elbows straight as we can get them. They may not go all the way straight. That's okay, but we're going to reach the palms and fingers up to the ceiling and breathe out, engaging belly to spine. Feel your spine lengthen out as we take some nice tall side bends, reaching up and over toward the top of each side wall before pressing through our feet to pop that trunk up nice and tall and over to the other side. We're going to continue to side bend, lengthening up from the crown of the head as we sway as if we're a little tree moving in the breeze. Inhale that body up nice and tall, and then we breathe out to T with the palms facing the ceiling. Let's move our hands forward slightly so we can see them in our peripheral vision. With the thumbs spinning toward our back wall, we're going to bring those hands back and squeeze our blades toward each other, opening up through the front of the chest. Pulse for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Release the squeeze. Widen up that stance a bit, bend the knees a touch further, settling that tailbone down to the floor as we face our palms to our screen. Let's take a breath in, release the shoulders down the back side of the body as we exhale and draw belly a little closer to spine. Let's turn that upper body, rotating side to side. The breastbone, the eyes, and the nose are in line with each other as we spin on that axis that goes from head to tail. Inhale, face the screen, exhale and turn. Inhale, face the screen, and exhale, turn. Breathing in, we face forward, and exhaling, moving our arms down by our sides. Give those shoulders a little bouncing shake, and we're going to turn our toes to face forward. Feet are now parallel to each other. Feet are wide. If your knees don't love that wide stance, we can bring them in a little bit closer. And take the pinky side of the hands right to the fold in the hips. Softening up through those knees a little further, let's tip our tailbone back and the crown of the head toward our screen. Bend the knees as much as you need to get a little bit of length through the back of the thighs. You decide how far forward we're tipping. Breathing in, we come up nice and tall, and exhale again. We tip the crown of the head forward and that tailbone back, lengthening out through the back of the thighs. Inhale up tall, crown of the head to the ceiling. Exhale and tip. And one more time. Inhale, crown of the head to the ceiling. Exhale, we tip it forward, length. Let's reach our fingertips down toward the floor. Let's move into a row, squeezing the shoulder blades together, tucking the elbows in above the waistline, and then reach those fingertips down toward the mat. Squeeze and release. Squeeze and release. Squeeze the blades together, elbows in by the waistline, and press the arms straight, reaching those fingertips to the wall behind us. Reach and press for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Let's take that trunk up nice and tall, give the shoulders a roll back and down, and tip the head side to side. As we bring our ear toward our shoulder, we feel the opposite side of the neck and shoulder lengthening out. Let's inhale up nice and tall, get that head on straight again, and we'll narrow up our base of support, bringing the feet in line with our sit bones. There's a little space between those feet still. Fingertips and thumbs are going to circle our waistline, and we breathe in here before exhaling, drawing belly and spine toward each other, enough that we feel a little bit of tension in those muscles underneath our fingertips. Let's lift our toes up, feel the arches lift to go along for the ride. Spread the toes apart, again, getting that stretch across the instep. And let's bring those toes down to the mat, pinky first, and then we roll through until the big toe taps the floor. Lift and spread and tap those toes down. Twice more, lift and spread and tap the toes down. One final time, lift the toes up, spread them apart, tap them down to the floor. As we press the base of the big toe into the mat, we're going to shift forward and hold our weight over the balls of the feet. Keeping the big toe and the pinky pressed into the mat, come far enough forward that we can hover our heels up off the floor. We're going to feel the underside of the foot, the soles working a little bit. We'll feel our calves start to engage a little bit, and then maybe we can lift up a little higher onto the toes. Lower and lift that heel, moving in a range where we feel steady over the ball of the foot. It's a nice, small little base of support compared to when we have the whole foot on the mat. We want to be able to come up and down while keeping the weight forward, feeling the effort through the back of the leg on each side. Lift and lower for 4, 3. Your range is determined by how far you feel in control. And then let's lower our heels down. Pressing the weight back over the front of the ankles now. Shake out the legs. Coming back over the center of the ankles, we'll push our weight from side to side. And again, feel those muscles through the midsection kicking into the fingertips. If you're not feeling much, shift over a little farther to the side. We're going to feel the outer hip kick in as well. A little bit of effort through the lower leg to help us stabilize. And now let's make circles around our base of support, moving that circle in a range where we can keep the base of the big toe, the base of the pinky, and that heel firmly planted onto the floor. Pause wherever you are, breathe in, and then exhaling, we take that circle the other direction for 4. Circle 3. Here's 2. And 1. And let's move the weight right back over the center of our ankles. Give the knees a little shake and shake your wrists out. Let's sweep the hands forward to shoulder level, and with straight elbows, we point our fingertips down and up, lengthening through those muscles and connective tissue along the forearm. Keeping the palms facing forward now, fingertips facing the ceiling. Let's take our arms out to T and feel that stretch through maybe the palm, maybe that middle finger, and we point down and up with those fingers again. Let's wave our hands up and down as we bring our arms down by our sides, and then we do the same thing as we raise those arms back through T and up to the ceiling. We're getting a little glide to all those connective tissues that our nerves and our arms live and move within. And let's take those hands down, shake them out, and get ready to make our way down to the floor. Grab your cushion if you want to use it, place it in the center of the mat, and then turn and face it, backing up a bit so we have maybe a foot behind us to the edge of our mat. Let's soften up our knees, breathe in, shrugging the shoulders, and we exhale, dropping the shoulders down toward the waistline. Let's take our tailbone back, slide the crown of the head forward, and slide the hands down toward the ankle joints, and then down to the mat. We'll keep our core engaged as we walk the hands forward. Knees are going to stay bent and bend a little further as we lower them down toward our cushion. Once we're on hands and knees, we line up the crown of the head with that tailbone. We're in a nice straight line with the back of the head, the middle back, and that sacrum lined up together. Inhale here and exhale, resetting belly to spine. Let's wag our tail side to side, taking a hip toward each side wall while keeping the rest of the body nice and still. Come on back to center, curl through cat. Exhale as we look toward our thighs. Inhaling, we take our tailbone to the ceiling and the breastbone forward. Exhale, curl to cat, and inhale through to cow. Exhale, curl to cat. Inhale to cow, and let's bring that body right back to center. Squeeze and press through those shoulder blades, keeping the elbows soft but straight and letting them wrap, letting those shoulder blades wrap back around toward the spine behind us. Press them forward toward the floor. One more time, squeeze those blades, press them forward, and we rock our bottom back to the heels and then pull up till those shoulders are over our hands again. Rock back, pull forward. If we had something balanced in the small of the back, we should be able to keep that back nice and still and avoid losing that object. Coming right back to center with the weight over those hands and those knees, let's turn the tops of the feet to the floor. We're going to tap our toes out just beyond the border of the mat, and then we cross one over the other, rotating through those hip joints mid-range as we continue to tap and cross. Trunk stays still, head and neck stay nice and still, and let's uncross those lower legs. They're going to be parallel to each other. Now we bring our toes together and pull the knees toward the outer edges of the mat. Big breath in here, and exhale, we reset belly to spine and draw the bottom back to our heels. Press the forearms down to the mat and slide them in toward the air in the joint lines. Pressing through the forearms, we're going to give that chin a little nod toward the neck and shift the weight from side to side. We're going to load one leg and then the other, one forearm and then the other. And as we push away from one side, we're going to feel that side's inner thigh start to lengthen out, particularly right up where the leg meets the pelvis. Coming back to center, slide the hands forward. We can let that upper body come up just a touch. And breathing out, we slide those hands toward the head of the mat and lower our forehead toward the floor. This is all going to be dependent on tightness through the trunk and the back side of the body and those armpits. If you have a lot of tension there, don't force your forehead down. If you have the ability and the range to get that forehead down comfortably, we can go ahead and let it rest on the mat. As we breathe in here, we press our hands into the floor and we're going to feel those side muscles lengthen out. We're going to feel the back side of the rib cage open up. We'll take this a little further by breathing in. As we inhale, that rib cage expands. And then as we exhale, we drop our forearms to the mat. Letting those elbows bend, we shift our weight forward. And let's take that cushion out from under the knees if we do have one under there. We'll slide or lengthen those thighs out down to the mat. We're opening up our hips toward the floor. Pressing into the hands, we'll lift our breastbone up slightly toward the ceiling and take a breath in again. As we exhale, we're going to turn toward our screen, tuck the far arm underneath the body, and come to rest on our backs. Hands are right by our sides. We're going to line up our heels with our sit bones with those knees bent. Let's move through our clock face motions with that pelvis, curling the pubic bone toward the breastbone and flattening the low back for 12 o'clock. Keeping that chin nice and still, let's lengthen our tailbone toward our heels for 6. Curl to 12 and lengthen through to that 6 o'clock position. If you can keep those shoulder blades resting on the mat, we'll be in real good shape here. We're going to open up that chest, curling back and forth from 12 to 6. Coming back to neutral, let's rock the pelvis from 3 o'clock to 9 o'clock, allowing the hip and the rear end on the side we're moving our pelvis away from to lift up off the floor. Rock to 3 o'clock and roll to 9. One more time, we rock to 3 o'clock. We roll it to 9. And we come right back to neutral, taking a big breath in, and then exhaling, belly and spine drawing toward each other. Let's breathe arms up to the ceiling and open them out to T. Lengthen the fingertips toward the side walls, moving as far to the sides and as close to the mat as we can without letting that middle back pop up from the floor. If it's helpful, we can think about taking our lowest ribs and dropping them down as well, which will give us a little more chest stretch. Inhale, hands to the ceiling. Exhale, open those arms to T. Inhale, hands to the ceilings. Exhale, open to T. We're going to hold that T, stretching the fingertips away from each other as we turn our head to look toward our screen and turn our head to look toward the far wall. Coming right back to center, we breathe those arms to the ceiling and now reach those blades up as well. Lower the blades to the mat. Inhale, reach them up, and exhale, lower. Inhale and reach. Exhale, lower the blades. And one more time. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, lower the blades. We're going to keep that core engaged as we bring one knee up to 90 degrees and the other knee up to meet it in tabletop. Let's press our hands and thighs toward each other with the elbows drawing toward those thighs as well. And as we build pressure from hands to thighs and from thighs to hands, we're going to feel the front side of the trunk activate. We hold this position with those thighs perpendicular to the floor and ceiling, and we straighten the knees. Big breath in, exhale, bend back to parallel to the floor. Inhale to the ceiling, exhale to tabletop. Head and neck stay nice and still. Inhale, straighten as best you can. Exhale and bend. Inhale and straighten, and exhale, bend. We're going to hold tabletop. Breathe in again and exhale, resetting belly to spine. Float the arms away from the thighs, reaching them forward. Let's flip our palms to face the ceiling, and we're going to open those arms out just a touch further from the sides. Stretching the fingertips to the wall in front. We hold that belly nice and active and draw the knees together. Straighten those knees as best you can, reaching the toes to the ceiling. And we're going to rock those feet from side to side, allowing our hip to come up on the side the feet are rocking away from, if we're able to control the motion from side to side. Breathing back to the center, we flip our palms to face the mat and stretch those hands toward the wall in front. Inhale here, and exhaling, we hug our far knee into the body and lengthen the leg closest to the screen all the way forward, lowering it to a hovered position up off the floor. Keeping the core active, the head, neck, and trunk nice and still. Let's switch our legs. Pull and press. One knee comes closer to the body as we stretch our opposite toes to the wall in front. Switch it up and press. Inhale, switch. Exhale, switch. Inhale, switch. Exhale, switch, and hold with the far knee drawn into the body. And we're going to take that straight hovered leg side to side, moving out of that hip joint as we trace a horizontal line on the wall in front of us. Twice more, side to side. And side to side, lengthening those toes forward. We circle them on the wall in front, moving from the hip joint. Here's 3, 2, and 1. Big breath in, and exhaling, we reverse that circle for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Breathe that knee into the chest. Exhaling, we press our opposite leg out to hover. Keeping that core active, the head, neck, and trunk nice and still. Take that lifted leg side to side. Here's 4 and 3. Last 2 and 1. Stretch the toes to the wall in front and circle them on that wall in front for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Reverse it for 4. Here's 3, 2, and 1. Lengthen that leg toward the wall in front and then draw the heel and the back of the knee to the floor. We're going to take our bent knee and cross the body. Take the bent knee out toward the screen. One more time. Cross the body and pull out toward the screen. Coming right back to center, we hang on behind our lifted thigh and kick those toes toward the ceiling, straightening the knee out until the point we feel a stopping point or a stretch behind that thigh. We're going to hold that position, wiggle through the ankle, flexing and pointing 4, 3, 2, and 1. Reset the navel. Hover that straight supporting leg up off the floor, and we lift it up to meet those lifted stretching toes. Exhale forward and down the wall. Inhale and lift toward the ceiling. Exhale forward and down. Inhale and lift. Exhale, lower to hover. And one more time. Inhale, lift that leg. Exhale, lower through hover, taking the heel and the back of the knee to the mat. Keep that lifted leg where it is, and we'll press our arms down by our sides, widening the collarbones away from center. Let's circle the ceiling with that lifted leg. Stir your hip in its socket. You are welcome to bend that knee if we need a little more slack. Inhale at the top, and then breathing out, we take our circle the other way. There's 4. Circle 3, 2, Inhale at the top and breathe out as we draw that knee into the body. Big breath in here. As we breathe out, we nod the chin to look directly at our kneecap and we switch legs. Pull and lengthen that other leg out along the mat, pressing the back of the knee and the heel into the floor. Take that newly bent knee and cross it over, reach it toward the screen, and then bring that knee out toward the far wall. Again, cross it over toward the screen, bring it out to the far wall, and let's come right back to center. Hang on behind that lifted thigh, kick the thigh into the hands and lengthen through that knee, bringing the toes to the ceiling. Flex and point through the ankle for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Point the toes, drop those shoulders down to the mat and hover that straight supporting leg off the floor. Inhaling, we lift it up. Exhale, lengthen it forward and down to hover. Inhale and lift. Exhale, lengthen down. Inhale and lift. Exhale, lengthen forward and down. And one more time. Inhale, reach those toes up to meet the other. Exhale, lengthen forward and down. And as we press our heel and the back of the knee into the floor, we leave our stretching side where it is and bring the arms down by the sides. Let's stir our lifted leg in that hip socket. Again, bending the knee if we need a little slack. Bending a lot or a little, we're all a little different here. Breathe in at the top of the motion, and then taking that exhale, we move our circle in the other direction for 4. Circle 3, 2, and 1. Hug that knee into the body and bring the other one in to meet it. We're going to hug those knees in, let that low back flatten into the floor, and as we rock side to side, we'll feel a little bit of opening through those joints. We may get a little stretch through the rear end or through that low back. It should be gentle. Come on back to center. Bring the knees and feet a little bit away from each other, and we're going to circle those legs. We'll go clockwise, counterclockwise, and then pause them where they are. Hang on to those kneecaps. We're going to guide them up to perpendicular thigh position. Drop the shoulders and reset belly to spine. Big breath in, exhaling, we come right back up to tabletop and bring the arms up to the ceiling as well. Let's bring our big toes together, turn the knees apart and draw the heels toward the body. We're going to hold frog here. Flatten your low back against the mat just a touch and make sure if you press them into your fingertips, we're going to feel a little activity through the muscles in the front of the trunk. Breathing out, we press our toes forward toward the wall in front of us and inhale back to frog. Exhale, press forward. We can start pressing toward the top of the wall. Move at a pace that makes sense for you. If you want to make this more challenging on that trunk, reach those feet forward a little farther down the wall. Inhale to frog and exhale, press. Hold that forward press, sweep the legs to the ceiling, and we're going to breathe out to V. Lengthen the toes to the side walls. Inhale them together. Exhale, open and lengthen. Inhale, feet together. Exhale, open and lengthen. Inhale, feet together. Keep those feet together and we move to corkscrew. Let's make some circles on the ceiling. Both legs moving together. You pick whether it's clockwise or counterclockwise. We're going to do them both. As we drop our shoulder blades down, we're still reaching our fingertips up to the ceiling. Inhaling, we pause the legs, and then breathing out, we take them in the other direction. There's 4. Circle 3. Here's 2. And 1. Bend those knees in, draw them into the body, and rock everything side to side. Take a big breath in. Take a big breath out. We come back to center and give those shoulders a roll. Grab those kneecaps, guide the legs right back up to tabletop again, and exhaling, we press the thighs and hands toward each other again. Scoop the arms to the ceiling. Let's flex our feet, and we're going to lower and lift one heel at a time to the mat before drawing it right back up to tabletop. Exhale, lower the heel. Inhale and lift. Exhale, lower. Inhale and lift. And one more time. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. Challenge it a little further by drawing that belly back, lowering both heels down. They can come close to the bottom, and then we lift up to tabletop, or they can come farther away for more trunk challenge. Inhale and lift. Exhale, lower the heels. Inhale, lift them up, and one more time. Exhale, lower the heels. We're going to hold them there and lower the toes to the mat as well. Take a big breath in, and breathing out, we open our arms back to the top of the wall behind us and breathe them down the wall. Lengthen the fingertips back toward that wall and draw those thumbs downward. We're going to find that first point of resistance, first stretch point through the sides of the armpits, the sides of the trunk. We're going to hold that position there, taking a breath in. As we exhale, take those lowest ribs, drop them down a little closer to the floor. See if we can get a little support for our trunk and a little more opening through those side muscles. Big breath in. Exhaling, we open our arms out through T, draw the hands down by the sides and press the palms into the mat. Let's rock our knees from side to side. Keep it going. Keep those shoulders down, collarbones widened away from center of the body. And we inhale our knees to face the ceiling now. Let's walk the heels in toward the bottom. We're going to get ready for bridge. Take a breath and exhaling, we draw belly to spine. Pressing through our heels, we squeeze our glutes and lift those hips up toward the ceiling. Lengthen the knees toward the wall in front of us. Inhale again, and breathing out, we lower that body down, taking our tailbone close to the heels. Tap down, squeeze and lift. Inhale and lower, lengthening the tailbone down. Exhale, squeeze and lift. And we're going to hold our bridge here at the top of our motion. The top of the motion is where you feel you have the most effort through the glutes versus anywhere else in the body with this lift. We're going to feel some length through the thighs. If you feel your low back, I want you coming down a little bit until you feel the rear end working a little bit more and the back working less. Keeping that those hips nice and still. We're going to go up and down on our toes. Lift and lower the heels for 4, 3, 2, 1. Press the heels into the mat. We take a big breath in, and then breathing out, we lower that body down to our mat. Release the glutes when that tailbone touches the floor, and we rock our knees side to side toward that screen, toward the far wall, and right back to the center. Again, rock those knees to one side, to the other side, and breathe back to center. Exhaling, we reset belly to spine, squeeze and lift those hips off the mat again. Hold at the top of the motion, and we bring our knees out to the sides one at a time. We're moving out of our hip joint, pelvis, shoulders, head, neck. Stay nice and still. Move 4, 3, 2, and 1. Knees come forward, take a breath, and then breathing out, we lengthen back down. Again, we release the glutes at the bottom and rock those knees side to side for 4. Rock 3. Here's 2. And last 1. Inhale, let's bring those knees right back to center. Breathe out, belly to spine. Squeeze those glutes and lift the hips. We're going to hold that lift as we press our arms and shoulders into the mat. And let's move to a march, taking one knee at a time in toward the body. Keep it going. If you feel like this is putting too much pressure on your head or neck, instead of marching, we can lift and lower one heel at a time. Keep it going for 4. March or heel lift. 3. Here's 2. And 1. We'll press our final foot into the floor. Take a big breath in. Exhaling, lengthen that body down to the mat. Releasing the glutes when that tailbone touches. Let's rock those knees side to side and bring them back up to the ceiling. Cross your screen side ankle over the far knee. If you have a little more slack, we can lift up. If not, that foot stays on the floor and we give ourselves a little side to side rock. Notice as we move away from the crossed hip, we're going to feel that stretch or that effort move a little more to the outside of that rear end. Let's take those feet down. We'll bring the other side up. Again, let that knee come to the side. Find a stopping point. Hold it there, or if you do have more slack, lift up and find your figure 4. Rock that body side to side. And we come right back to center. Uncrossing the legs, we'll draw our knees into the chest and take one more breath here before taking our heels to the floor. Let's face our screen, grab your cushion again, and make our way up to hands and knees. All right, once we are there, take a breath in and exhale, belly to spine. Press the pads of your fingers into the floor. That's going to help activate the underside of the forearm. It'll take a little pressure off your wrists too. We're going to hold still here as we breathe in and we exhale, curl into cat. Inhale, reversing the cow. Exhale, curl the cat. Inhale to cow. Come on back to center. Give your tail a wag. And come on back to center. We move to shoulder taps, bringing one hand at a time up to that opposite shoulder. Widen up your hand position if you want to challenge that trunk a little more. tap 2, and tap 1. We take our hands right back down underneath the shoulders. Big breath in and exhale. Reset belly and spine toward each other as we lengthen that screen side leg back. Press through the hands and lift that back leg up to trunk level. Reach the opposite arm forward. Hold 4, 3, 2, and 1. Coming back to all fours, we take that breath in. And breathing out, we lengthen our far leg back, lifting it up to trunk level and reaching that other arm forward. Hold 4, 3, 2, and 1. Breathe into all fours. Exhale, lengthen the other side. Breathe into all fours and exhale, lengthen to the other side. We'll take our hand down. We'll take our knee down and we curl through cat and over to cow. Come on back to the center and slide that screen side leg back. We'll arc it to the side and press that foot into the floor. We can hold here, lengthening our inner thigh down to the mat, or we can keep that inner thigh length and add our rock backs for 2 and for 1. Coming back to the center, slide that leg back, breathe it into all fours and exhale the opposite leg toward the wall behind us. Arc that leg out to the far wall and press the foot into the mat as we lengthen the inner thigh down to the floor. Feel that length. We can hold here or we can add our rock backs for 2. Holding up and for 1. Pull right back up over those hands. Hold the position and lengthen that leg back behind the body. Draw the knee in, big breath in. Exhaling, we press into our far hand and open that screen side arm out to the side. Look to those fingertips and spin the breastbone toward the screen as we reach our arm up. Exhaling, we thread the needle. Reach that arm through, across the trunk toward the far wall. And again, take that arm up and out. Thread it through. We take our hand back to the mat, breathing in. And we exhale the opposite arm out to the far wall. Breathing in, we spin our breastbone to the far wall. Arm comes up toward the ceiling. Breathing out, we thread it through toward the screen. Inhale the arm up and out. Exhaling, we thread it through. Coming right back to center. We take our leg on the screen side back, press it into the mat. Take the opposite leg back. We're up on those toes and holding our plank. Keeping the hips open, we lower our knees down. And then we press back to plank. Inhale, lower those knees. Exhale to plank. Tap 1 foot at a time out beyond the outer border of the mat. And tap. And tap. Last 4. Switch and tap 3. Here's 2. And 1. Feet come back to plank. Let's draw the knees right back down to our cushion. We curl to cat. And we lengthen through to cow. Come on back to center, bringing the feet together. And we'll take our knees away from each other. Drop that bottom back to the heels. We're going to lower our forearms and shake those wrists out. Take a moment here to roll those wrists in circles. You can clasp your fingers. You could do them individually. Circle both ways. And let's walk our hands toward the head of the mat. Lower that forehead down. Take a big breath in. Breathing out, we walk the hands toward the screen and pause with those thumbs touching. Inhale here. Feel that far side of the body opening up, and then press the heels of the hands into the mat as we walk them all the way over to the other side. Again, we pause here with those thumbs touching. Big breath in. Breathing out, press through those hands and walk the hands forward. We're going to drop to the forearms, shift the weight over those knees, and take any extra cushioning out from under the knees now as we come down to those upper thighs. Resting on the upper thighs, we press into our hands and reset, drawing that belly up toward the ceiling. Let's bring one heel toward the bottom. Knees are going to bend. We can keep our ankles flexed, drawing the heel in. We can keep the toes pointed, drawing the heels and the toe toward the bottom. You decide what's working for you. Switch them off. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lengthen the leg out. Take a big breath in and exhale. And we turn toward our screen with straight legs and rest on that bottom forearm. We're going to flex our feet and press that bottom pinky toe into the mat. Take the top hand, wrap it around underneath the waistline, and press through the forearm to lift that waistline up from the floor. Take that top arm to the ceiling, and we're going to reach it overhead. Keep pressing into that forearm as we draw our arm down by our side. Inhale up and over. Exhale, arm down. That weight-bearing shoulder is as far away from the ear as we can get it. Inhale, arm to the ceiling. Now we exhale, tap the mat in front. and lift the arm up. Tap it down and lift. 2 more. Tap, lift that arm up, and last time through, tap that arm down, lift it up. Bend up the knees. We're going to take ourselves up to whatever position in sitting is comfortable for you. So legs are wherever they're most comfortable, and give that weight bearing shoulder a couple of rolls back. And then we tip our head to the opposite side and breathe in. As we exhale, think about lengthening that shoulder down toward the waistline. And we come up nice and tall with our head. Let's go ahead and bring ourselves over to that other forearm. Straighten out those legs. Our elbow and shoulder are lined up, and we flex those feet for stability. We're going to press down, shoulder away from the ear, and take your hand to the lower waistline, lifting it up off the mat. Let's bring our arm to the ceiling, top arm to the ceiling, and inhale it overhead. Exhale it down by the body. Inhale up and over. Exhale up to the ceiling and down by the thigh. Inhale up and over. Exhale it down. Inhale, arm to the ceiling. Hold it here, and let's take it forward and right back up. Take it forward and up. Now's a good time to drop your supporting shoulder. If you need a little more support, lower that hand and lift it up. We're going to bend the knees, bring ourselves up nice and tall again to whatever preferred sitting position you have. Give that shoulder a couple of rolls. Let's tip our head to the opposite side, ear to shoulder. Big breath in. Exhale. Drop that shoulder down to the mat, and we bring our head up nice and tall, turning ourselves lengthwise on that mat. We bend up our knees, bring our feet in front of us, and we're going to take our hands to the outsides of our thighs. Press the elbows gently into the thighs and press the thighs out into the hands. Big breath in here. Breathing out, we reset belly to spine and straighten the elbows out a bit, lengthening back the trunk until we feel the front of the body engaging. Keep that far hand pressed into the thigh. We open the screen side arm out to the side. Inhaling, bring that hand right back to the knee. Exhale, open the opposite arm out to the side. Inhale, hand to the thigh. Exhale, open toward the screen. Inhale, hand to the thigh. Exhale, open toward that side wall. Let's bring our hands right to the kneecaps. We'll bring our trunk up nice and tall, and let's take our hands back behind the body. We're going to press right back onto the heels of the hands. Straighten your elbows out and squeeze those blades. If you need a little bit of bend in those elbows, keep them nice and soft. If that feels better on your wrists and your elbows, go ahead and do so. We're going to send that breastbone up toward the top of the wall in front of us, and we walk our bottom forward till it comes as close to the heels as we can get, maintaining straight elbows and those squeezed shoulder blades. Pause here. As we take a breath in, we should feel the whole rib cage open up. Exhale. Send that breastbone up a little more. And if you do have any more slack to give, we can take our heels in a little closer to the bottom and lift those hips up. Take them up toward reverse tabletop, and we hold here for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lower that bottom. Let's sit up nice and tall. Shake out the wrists, roll the shoulders back and down, and we'll make our way onto our side. We're going to rest on that bottom arm. Knees are forward. We take our top hand to the mat. Big breath in here. Exhale, belly to spine, and press into the top hand. We're going to bring those knees up and down for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Bring the knees down. Lift the feet for 4, 3. Try to keep that motion in the hip. 2. Lift and hold those toes up. Press the top knee up for 4, 3, 2, 1. Take the knees down and the feet down and lift to hydrants. There's 4, 3, 2, and 1. Bend that top leg back to hip level. Straighten out the bottom leg, and again we float through hydrants. There's 4, 3, 2, 1. Stretch those top toes forward. Stretch out that knee. Lengthen the leg back to the far wall. Swing it forward. Swing it back. Try to keep a little bit of lift through that waistline on the floor side. One more time. Swing it forward. Swing it back. Toes come down and up for 4, 3, 2. Hold them up there. Circle that leg forward. 3, 2. Reverse it. Backward for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Pulse that leg up. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and hold. Slide the bottom leg back to line up with that top leg and press your top hand firmly into the mat. Lift and lower that bottom leg. There's 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And we bring our top leg down. Bend at the knees. Give everything a little pat. Reach the arm toward the screen and bring it to the ceiling. Inhaling, we look toward our hand and then we breathe back to open book. We'll open up through that chest, fingertips reach to the far wall. Breathe that arm to the ceiling and then we exhale it forward. Let's take ourselves up and over, making our way to our other side. Resting on that bottom arm, we bend up our knees and lift our waistline up. Press your top hand down and we lift our knees up and down for 4. For 3, lift 2, and 1. Knees come down, lift the feet for 4. Waistline stays still, those hips are moving. Lift the toes and press the top knee up. Press 3. Press 2. Press 1. Knees come down, float the feet down, and we move to hydrants. Lift 3. Here's 2. And 1. Back to hip height. Slide that bottom leg out straight and lift to hydrants again. Lift 3. Lift 2. And 1. Back to hip height. Straighten out that knee. Stretch the toes forward and swing that leg back. Flex forward. Swing back. 2 more. Bring it forward and back. And last 1. Swing forward. Swing back. Toes come down and up for 4. For 3. For 2. We're in the home stretch. Circle that leg forward. 3, 2, and 1. Take it backward. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Pulse it up. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and hold. Bring that bottom leg back to line up with the top leg and press that top hand into the mat. Lift and lower that bottom leg. There's 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Take that top leg down. We'll bend up our knees and we give our hip a little pat. Let's reach that arm forward and bring it up to the ceiling. Inhaling, we look up to our fingers, and exhaling, we reach back toward that far wall. Inhale up and forward. And let's go ahead and bring our hands down and turn to our backs. Resting on the back with the knees bent, we're going to take those legs side to side, rock the knees toward the screen and away. And we'll repeat that one more time. Toward the screen and away. Come on back to center, cross the far ankle over that screen side knee. If again you have a little more slack to give, we lift up, finding figure 4. And we give that body a little side to side rock, whether that other leg is lifted or on the mat. Breathing back to center, we can take the foot down, and exhaling, we unwind and cross the other ankle over. Again, if we have some slack, we lift and we rock. Big breath in. Exhale back to center. Let's uncross those knees, crawl them into the body, and bring the feet back to the floor. Turning toward our screen again, we can find our cushion if you'd like to use it. Place it on the mat and find our way up to hands and knees. Get your bearings in that all 4 positions, and we curl through cat and through to cow. Curl it up to cat and to cow. Coming to neutral, turn those toes under. Rock the bottom back to the heels and walk the hands back toward those knees. Let's flip our weight to our feet, and once we're settled over those ankle joints, we come up nice and tall. Take a moment here to get your bearings. Meet me in the center of the mat with those feet shoulder width apart or a little wider, and the toes pointing out toward the front bottom corners of the room. Let's soften up our knees, send the crown of the head upward, and inhale, shrugging the shoulders. Exhaling, we drop those shoulders down. Let's tip our head side to side as we reach those fingertips toward our outer knee joint lines, and we bring our head up nice and tall. Give the chin a little nod and we turn. We're going to look side to side. And let's look forward. Let's bring our feet together. We're going to close with a big breath in, arms up overhead, a big breath out to the sides and down by the body. One more time, arms come out and up and overhead. Press the palms together. We look up toward those fingertips and take a big breath in. Exhaling, we draw everything to center. And we're done. Good job. Thanks for being here. I hope everyone has a wonderful holiday weekend and see you again soon.
Thank you.